Hello again, everyone. Just 1 minute, then we will start. Okay, let's start. Let's start our revision today. Hello, everyone. I would like to thank you for your attendance in this second lecture. Second revision lecture, second free lecture for recent recalls. As usual, I will make all of you mute. And if you have any question at any time, please raise your hand and ask about it. Just okay. Let's start. The first question today here, indicated in esophageal ulcer by driving acidity. This is acidity, please. I'll correct it. Acidity away from the ulcer. Here, a patient having esophageal ulcer Sorry for this disturbance, but let's continue. Again, the question here, a patient having esophageal ulcer, and this ulcer, how can we decrease the acidity of this ulcer? And how can we protect? Here we have two ways. One of them is decreasing acidity, and the other is protect from acidity. Okay, decreasing acidity, we can use any product that decrease the acidity, like PPIs, like H2 blockers, like antacids. Okay, but the question asking about how can we derive the acidity away from the ulcer, so it means how can you protect from acidity? And this is the rule of sucralfate. What it will do, sucralfate plus HCl, it will form a protective layer. Okay, this protective layer will protect the esophagus from the acidity. So when the patient having already an ulcer in the esophagus, any acid will increase this ulcer, will increase the pain, and we can protect the pain by using sucralfate. Okay. The next question. A patient bring you a prescription for 16 milliequivalents potassium chloride. Your pharmacy has 600 milligrams of potassium chloride with molecular weight 74.5. Controlled release tablet. Okay, the form of potassium chloride is a controlled release tablet, each one of 600 milligrams potassium chloride. How many tablets you are needed for this patient? Okay, so here we are looking for how many tablets, to calculate how many tablets. To know that, we need to know the total amount of potassium chloride needed in a unit of milligrams. How can we know that? We have the milliequivalents. Milliequivalents of potassium chloride is 16 milliequivalents. We have the formula that's saying that milliequivalents equal weight over the molecular weight over the small n, or what we called it equivalence weight. Okay, the equivalence weight equal molecular weight over the small n. The small n is the valency. Valency of what? Valency of the molecule that we deal. Potassium chloride here, what is the small n of it? It is 1. Okay, so here the weight in milligrams equal milliequivalence multiplied by molecular weight divided by small n. We have milliequivalence 16. We have the molecular weight, which is 74.5 over the small n, which is 1. So just multiply 16 by 74.5. It will be 1,192 milligrams. The total weight of potassium chloride needed is 1,192 milligrams. Here we have tablets of potassium chloride controlled release. Each one of them about 600 milligrams. Okay, so how many tablets needed? Here, this number approximately equal 1,200 milligrams, which is 2 tablets. If you divide this by 600, you will get 2 tablets. This is the answer of this question. Okay? The next question. Which of the following is not metabolized by glucourinidation? The metabolic reactions, we have 2 phases of metabolic reactions. Phase 1 and phase 2. Phase 1 reaction formed of 3 types of reactions: oxidation, reduction, and hydrolysis. Those are the phase 1. Which is the most common? It is the oxidation reaction. Phase 2. Phase 2 reactions is the conjugation reaction. We have 6 types of conjugation reactions: glucourinidation, sulfation, acylation, or we called it amino acid conjugation, the glutathione conjugation, and methylation, and acetylation. Those are the 6 types of conjugation reactions. Which is the most common? It is the glucuronidation. What is the meaning of conjugation? Conjugation is adding the conjugate to the main drug to convert it mostly to a polar compound which easily excreted from the kidney. Okay, so to add the glucuronic acid to the main pharmacophore of the drug, it will be added to OH group, carboxylic acid group, amino group, sulfur group. Okay. While if the drug having no of those groups, the glucuronidation will not happen. Here he asked about which of the following is not metabolized by the glucuronidation. Okay, nitrosamine, here we have NH group. Alkene, what is the alkene? C double bond C. Phenol, the phenyl group having OH. Carboxylic acid, acetaminophen having NH and having COH. So here, which is the only group that will not metabolize here through those 5 groups? It will be the alkene. Another recent question. The right site of action for the following drugs. Here we have some diuretics, and he asked about the position of action or the location of action of each of them, which is the right. As you know, the nephron formed of the capsule, proximal convoluted tubule, then loop of Hell, then distal, then collecting duct. Each group of diuretic will act on a specific part of the nephron. The proximal, here, which drug acting on the proximal? Carbonic anhydrase inhibitors, the acetazolamide. Loop of Hell, the ascending and descending part and ascending part. Here we have loop diuretics. Okay, the distal convoluted tubule, which diuretic act on this distal? It is thiazide. The collecting duct, which diuretic acting on the collecting duct? It is potassium sparing diuretics. Potassium sparing diuretics. Okay. Through all parts of the nephron, we have osmotic diuretics. Okay, will act all over the nephron. So let us see the choices and then we can know the right answer from it. Furosemide in proximal tubule, is it right or wrong? It is wrong. Why? Because furosemide is a loop diuretic. So it will act on the loop of Hell, mostly will be in the ascending part of loop of Hell. Spironolactone, what is the spironolactone? It is potassium sparing diuretics. Okay, potassium sparing diuretics. So, in which part this potassium sparing diuretic will act? In the collecting duct. In the collecting duct. So, here another wrong answer. Mannitol, it is an osmotic diuretic. It is an osmotic diuretic. So, it will act on all parts of the nephron, not only in the glomeruli. This is the glomeruli. Thiazide diuretics in distal tubule. So this is the only right answer here. It is the only right answer here. Another question. Here asking about the circulation, the direction of the circulation and related to the anatomy of the heart. Sequence of the blood flow from the heart to the brain. From the heart to the brain. Let us see the circulation. And let us see the anatomy of the heart. The heart formed of 4 chambers. 2 atrium, 2 atria, and 2 ventricles. The right part of the heart and left part of the heart. Okay. The vena cava, inferior and superior vena cava, carry the blood from the body to the right atrium. Then from the right atrium to the right ventricle through the tricuspid valve. Then from the right ventricle to what? To pulmonary artery, which carry the blood to the lung for oxygenation. Then from the pulmonary artery, from the lung to the heart again, it will go back to the heart through the 4 pulmonary veins to the left atrium. Then through the mitral valve to the left ventricle, which pump the blood through the aorta to other parts of the body. Okay, included the cerebral arteries to the brain. Okay, so let us see the sequence for all of those and let us see which is right. From left ventricular chamber to the aorta, yes, this is a right sequence, to the carotid artery, to the cerebral, yes, right. Okay, while the others, from right ventricle to aorta, the right will not connect directly to the aorta, so it is a wrong sequence. From left ventricle to aorta to pulmonary artery, this is a wrong sequence. From right ventricle to aorta, again, it is a wrong sequence. Okay. Another question. A patient taking selegiline for Parkinson's. What is the selegiline? Selegiline is one of the MAO-B inhibitors. Or monoamine oxidase type B inhibitor, which present in the brain. These monoamine oxidase have the ability to metabolize or hydrolyze the catecholamines and serotonin also. So when we inhibit the MAO-B enzyme, what will happen? The activity of monoamine oxidase enzyme will not act, so that here we are talking about a patient having Parkinson's. In Parkinson's, we need the conversion of levodopa into dopamine by the action of dopamine decarboxylase enzyme in the brain. Levodopa have another pathway through the MAO enzyme or MAO-B enzyme. We need to stop this pathway by giving the MAO-B inhibitor. So selegiline will inhibit any other pathway of levodopa in the brain other than its conversion to dopamine. Okay, so here selegiline will help in the activity of levodopa, to increase the activity of levodopa. The question here, a patient taking selegiline for mild Parkinson's disease just had a surgery. Prior discharge, his doctor prescribed meperidine. What is the meperidine? Meperidine here is an opioid, one of the opioids. We have a caution or precaution, very important interaction between opioids and MAO inhibitors and SSRIs, because all of them will increasing serotonin level. So may lead to serotonergic side effects or serotonergic or serotonin syndrome. Okay, so the answer here will be the concern is about serotonergic effect. One of the calculation problems, let us understand it very well. You have 20 milliliter ampoule, okay, an ampoule of a certain drug, its volume is 20 milliliter with a concentration of 0.75%. Okay, so each ampoule, its concentration is 0.75%. You need to prepare 250 milliliter solution with a concentration of 0.125%. What is the volume of liquid needed to be diluted? Here, which volume he will ask about, or he asked about? He asked about the volume before dilution. The volume needed to be diluted, the volume before dilution. Okay, so here we have concentration before, volume before, concentration after, and volume after. The concentration before is 0.75%. The volume before, it is the required volume in milliliter. The concentration after is 0.125, the diluted concentration. The volume after is 250 ml. Okay, so how can we solve? We have the formula saying that C multiplied by V before equal C multiplied by V after. It's a dilution, a very direct dilution problem. But before using the formula, as we mentioned in our lectures, you should check the units. Unit of concentration should be similar, which is present. Units of volume should be similar, which is present. So directly we can use the formula C before, which is 0.75 multiplied by V equal 0.125 multiplied by 250. Then we will get the volume before, which will be 42 ml. Okay. Let's see the next one. Yes. Here, the presence of 20 milliliter here, it's like a trick. We don't need, in this type of question, this volume. Just mention the volume of each ampoule. If the question changed to be how many ampoules used to prepare this preparation or to make this dilution. In this case, 42 milliliter present in how many ampoules? Approximately 2 ampoules. So we can depend on 2 ampoules to prepare this preparation. Okay, so if the question asking about the number of ampoules used, here we can depend on this volume. But if he asks only about how many milliliter used, so just 42 milliliters, okay? The next question. The type of radiation used in sterilization, one of the very new questions also. In sterilization, which type of radiation we use? Yes. Alpha, beta, gamma, or ultraviolet. Here, the gamma radiation is the right answer. Gamma radiation is the most popular form of radiation sterilization and used when material are sensitive to high temperature. We can use both together. We can use the gamma radiation plus the ionizing radiation or plus the autoclaving. Okay. So I'm sorry, again, to clarify this point. Gamma radiation is the radiation used for sterilization for the product sensitive to high temperature of autoclaving. Okay, but autoclaving is compatible with ionizing radiation. The next question. What is the active product of marijuana? No, we cannot use the ultraviolet radiation. The active product of marijuana is tetrahydrocannabinol. This is the structure of tetrahydrocannabinol. Okay. What is the transferrin? We have many expressions like this. Ferritin, transferrin. What is the difference between both? Ferritin is the storage of the iron. Iron stores. Iron stores. What about transferrin? It is the transport system of the iron, which transport the iron in the blood, the protein that carry the iron in the blood, called transferrin. Okay, we have iron binding capacity. The capacity of iron to bound to protein, or capacity of protein to catch or bound to the iron. Okay, so the transferrin is the transport iron in the blood. Now let's see this question regarding to the stereoisomerism. Below here, we have 4 isomers of 2-chloro-3-nitrobutane. 2-chloro-3-nitrobutane isomer. What is the relation between the isomer A and the isomer C? This one and this one. Is it mesocompounds or enantiomer or diastereomer or chain isomer? Let us see the relation. Now, let us see the relation. Please, we can put it beside each other to be more clear. Okay, here the A, the isomer A, we have here H, we have here NO2, here we have Cl, and here we have H. The other one here we have Cl, H, sorry, H, here Cl, here H, and NO2. Okay, this will be H and NO2. Let us see the characters, the 4 characters. Number of chiral carbons. Number of chiral carbons. We have 2 chiral carbons. 2 chiral carbons. This one and this one. Okay, do you have a question? Please, if you have a question, ask about it. Okay, so we have 2 chiral centers. Another character. What about the image? Are they mirror image to each other or not? They are not mirror image. Why? Because here this carbon, the Cl in this side and the Cl in the same side in other carbon, so in other isomers, so they are not mirror image. Are they superimposed or not superimposed? If you put this one over this one, they will be not superimposed. Okay. What is the 4th character? The optical activity. Are they optically active or not? How can we know? For optical activity, if we have only 1 chiral center or odd number of chiral carbons, directly they will be optically active. Okay, if we have an odd number of chiral centers, directly they will be optically active. What about even number? Like this case, we have 2 chiral centers, even number. If we have even number, we should check, are they meso compound or not? Okay, how can we know? To know this point, please divide the compound into 2 equal halves from the middle and bend the upper part over the lower part. If they are mirror image, so they are meso compound. Mirror equal meso, mirror image to itself equal meso compound. So it is optically inactive, lose its optical activity. In our case here, if you bend the upper part over the lower part, what will happen? This Cl will be over this H, so it is not mirror image. So here we have an optically active compound, not meso compound. Optical activity obtained. Optically active. Okay, so the 4 characters here, 2 chiral centers, not mirror image, not superimposed, and optically active. Those are the 4 characters of diastereomers. So that the answer here is diastereomers. Okay, is it clear? Another question about the optical activity or isomerism. How many optical isomers are possible for this compound, which is 2-amino-propanoic acid? How many optical isomers? How can we know that? To know the optical isomers or number of isomers or stereoisomers, we should apply this formula. Number of isomers equal 2 to the power n. N is the number of chiral centers. So how many chiral centers in this compound? Only 1 chiral center, which is this center, this carbon. Okay, So what is that, or how many optical isomers? 2 to the power 1 equal 2. Only 2 stereoisomers or optical isomers from this compound. Okay. By the way, what is the group of this structure? Do you know? It's related to which type of compounds? It is alpha amino acid. Alpha amino acid. Amino acid here, we have acidic group and amino group. In the alpha position, this is the alpha position. This carbon is the alpha carbon to the carboxylic group. So we have alpha amino acid, yes. The comparison between acidity of compounds. Here we have 4 acids, 4 carboxylic acids. We want to compare between acidity, which is the strongest one regarding to these choices. Let us see. Firstly, we have some groups called electron donating groups. Electron donating groups, what is the effect of them on the acidity? Decreasing or increasing the acidity? Electron donating groups will decrease acidity. On the other hand, the electron withdrawing group increase the acidity. Okay. Electron donating like what? Like alkyl group. Electron donating group like alkyl group. While electron withdrawing group like what? Like OH carboxylic group or nitrogen, sulfur, chloride or halide as a general atoms. All of them increasing the acidity. So let us start to compare. Here we have acetic acid. Okay, and here we have formic acid. Which is more acidic in between both of those acids? Acetic or formic? Here we have alkyl group in acetic, which decrease the acidity. Therefore, formic is more acidic than acetic. Okay, so acetic is out of the choices. Let's compare between formic and the next one. Here we have trichloro. Trichloro acetic. Chloride atoms, not only one, we have 3 chloride atoms. So that increasing the acidity. So that trichloroacetic acid more than formic acid in acidity. So we can exclude formic acid. What is the next? Dibromoacetic acid. Here CH. There is no 2 here. Okay. Dibromoacetic acid. In comparison to trichloro, here we have 3 chloride, while here we have only 2 bromide. So that trichloro more acidic than dibromo. Therefore, the choice number C is the right answer here. Okay, this is how can we compare the acidity. The next one. Highest capacity of pulmonary volume. What is this expression called? Highest capacity of pulmonary volume, or the volume of the air in the lung, which abbreviation code, abbreviation code, or this expression code. Tidal volume, vital capacity, forced expiratory volume, or residual volume. It is vital volume, vital capacity, vital capacity. It is the highest capacity of the pulmonary volume, highest volume of air present in the lung. Okay, what is the forced expiratory volume? Forced expiratory volume is the volume exhaled volume in the first second after full inspiration. When you inhale the air in inhalation, with a full inhalation, take a deep breath, then try to push this air in the exhalation as fast as possible. In the first second, the amount of air exhaled is called forced expiratory volume, FEV1. We depends on this value to check and to categorize the asthma. Okay. What is the residual volume? Residual volume is the volume remaining in the lung after exhalation. Now let's see the last question today. The leukocytosis. What is the word leukocytosis? What does this expression mean? Leukocytosis, is it an increase in white blood cells or red blood cells, or increase in a decrease in platelet, or increase in red blood cells? Leukocytosis means increase in what? In white blood cells. Okay, what is the decrease in platelet means? Thrombocytopenia. Okay. This was the last question today. I hope it was useful and important lecture for all of you. And I would like to open the discussion now. If you have any question related to this session, or regarding to the exam, or regarding to anything, please ask about it. Do you have any question?
Yes, I have a question.
Yes, please.
Thank you. It was a very good lecture.
Thank you.
I just want to ask you that I have to do only paper 2. So just briefly tell me, this chemistry structures will come in paper 2?
No, chemistry is not involved in paper 2. What is the subjects in paper 2, to remind you about them? We have two main subtopics, or two main topics: the therapeutics and pharmaceutics.
Yep.
Okay, this will its weight about 30% of the paper 2, and this therapeutic is weight about 50% of paper, and more than 50%, 70%.
I'm again interrupting. Sorry. Doses will come in this section.
Doses mostly coming in this section related to the therapeutics.
Great, thank you very much.
Okay. Pharmaceutics, including pharmacokinetic theoretical part, some drug-drug interactions. Under the therapeutics, you will find the calculation and the OTC goes under the therapeutic. Therapeutic is the main part of this paper. while pharmaceutics also, it is important part, but its weight in the paper about 30%. This means that it's not important, but it is important also.
Yeah, just one last question before I
Yes.
will give chance to others as well. In therapeutics, how much calculation is involved? Like if it's 70% is therapeutics in paper 2?
There is no accurate percentage of calculation. This is according to the sample of the exam that you have, or the model of the exam that you have. It's
Okay.
by luck. Some members having only 10 to 12 calculation problems. Some
Okay.
other models containing about 20 calculation problems.
Okay.
So this will depends on your luck. But by the way, in my opinion, if you are very well in calculation, if the number of calculation problem increased, this is a good thing.
Yes. If a person is good in calculation, then only. Yeah.
But it's not possible or not difficult. They are possible.
Yeah.
They are possible problems.
Okay.
Okay.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Shukran.
Another questions, calculation in which paper we answered about it. Calculation will be in paper number 2. Question from Rabah, please tell me where can I find the recording as it late. I get that. Yes, the recording will be available in our website. This is the website, www.newptech.com. In the revision part, you'll find the courses and the revision. You will find the record of the 3 lectures present there. Also, I will send them in the groups. Another question about the paper 1 and paper 2. What is the question? The content of each of them, or what? If you ask about the content of each of them, paper 1 formed of 2 main topics, the pharmacology and physiology. This is one of the topics, and the other will be the chemistry.
Hi, sorry,
Yes.
it was me asking that question. So what I wanted to ask is, for an example, paper 2, you said we have 70% therapeutics and 30% pharmaceutics.
Yes.
My question is...
This is the weight of the questions in the paper. Okay, so suppose we have 100 questions, 70 questions will be therapeutics and 30 questions will be pharmaceutics. It's approximately, not a stable or constant percentage. Some depends on the model. And the passing record is different here. We need
that
to
is what I'm
pass
asking.
50% of this and 50% of this. Okay? We need to pass 50% of those 70 and 50% of those 30. Is it clear now? So there is no part you can reject it. You should study all the parts, all the topics that needed.
Yes, thank you.
Okay.
Thank you so much.
You are welcome. Another question. Do we need to remember basic structures of chemistry part? Yes, you need to remember the basic structures, the basic nucleus, which help you in identification of the structure. In our chemistry lectures, we learned how can we identify the structure without remembering the details of the structure. We don't need to remember the details or the actual content of the structure. Just know the nucleus and just know how can we identify this nucleus and connecting it with the drug group that it is belongs to. For example, if we know that this ring is called beta-lactam ring, Which drugs or which group of drugs containing beta-lactam ring? The beta-lactam antibiotics. How can we differentiate between them? Suppose we have this structure. Beta-lactam ring fused with a 5-member ring. Directly, we can know that this is one of the carbapenem. Okay, so if the choices, the 4 choices in the exam giving you a structure containing this nucleus, and the 4 choices will be amoxicillin, ceftriaxone, meropenem, azithrionem. So what is the answer in this case? Just knowing that this is a carbapenem, which one is a carbapenem? It is the meropenem. Okay. How to prepare for chemical structures. In our course, we have a specific course for chemistry, for chemical structures related to the exam, so you can join it. Okay, help you to identify the structure by an easy way, and you can solve the questions related to this. For paper 2, another question asking about which part we should focus on. Actually, this exam needs to focus on all parts. Why? Due to the calculation of the score. The calculation of the score will not for all parts of the exam as a general part, but the calculation of the score depending on each part. You need to pass 50% of each part, so that you should focus on all of them. Some members failing in the exam due to only one question of one part. Even he passed the other parts, but he cannot pass 50% of one part, so he will fail the paper and need to repeat the paper. No, unfortunately, the calculation is a very important. Calculation is a very important. You cannot pass the paper 2 without calculation. Is the calculator allowed in the exam? Yes, the calculator is allowed. We have 2 types of calculators, either your own calculator, which I recommend, and you can depend on the online calculator, but it will consume your time. So please, when you are going to the exam, take your own calculator. There is no restriction about the type of calculator, so you can use any calculator. You should take a scientific one with you. Okay, 2 things only allowed in the exam: the calculator and the ID. You should take your own scientific calculator. There is no negative marking. There is no negative marking. Okay. The chemistry, for members asking about the chemistry, we have a specific course or specific lectures for chemistry. There are 3 lectures, including the different parts of chemistry: organic chemistry, stereochemistry, heterochemistry, and structures. One of the lectures containing the structures and how can we identify the structures. Okay, where can you join for these lectures? please visit this website, www.newptech.com. In the courses related to KAPS exam, you will find the pharmaceutical chemistry course containing 3 lectures plus a test related to the chemistry, which includes about 50 questions related to the chemistry. This calculation will be mostly straightforward. Yes, calculation problems are easy in the exam. Just know how can we solve them in a fast and effective way within 1 or maximum 1.5 minutes. You should not exceed them. Not complicated questions. A simple, easy questions. Just knowing the way to solve them within 1 to 1.5 minutes. In our revision, it contains many questions repeated in the exam by the same numbers. Okay, so you can depend in our revision on those calculation problems. Another question, will it be easy to deal with the system of exam? Yes, it's a very easy. It's a computerized exam, each paper containing 100 questions. At the last revision lecture, we will describe or explain the way of the exam. Also, we have a sample of the exam in the mock test. It's mimic the real exam, so you can depend on it to know how the exam is going. Each paper containing 100 questions. You should solve them within 2 hours, 120 minutes. Yes, they will provide a rough paper for you for doing the calculation. They will provide you with a paper and pen. Yes. But you should have your own calculator again. Another question for calculation, you have a course. Yes, we have a specific course also for calculation. Specific course for calculation problem. Again, you can go to this website, www.newptech.com, then register to it, then to the courses, the menu bar, you'll find different types of courses related to KAPS. You can find many courses. One of them is the chemistry and the other is the calculation. The chemistry, the calculation, the other course about pharmacokinetics, and the full course for KAPS. Those are present. You can also, you'll find the mock test and the revision, the full revision that we have. They are recorded from the new live lectures, so they are updated. For the question about is they already recorded, they are recorded from the recent lectures, so they are updated. The currency in US dollar, the currency present in US dollar. Okay. Are those all questions you have today? Are there any other question? Okay. Finally, I would like to thank you so much about your attendance and your sharing and cooperation in this revision. Still, we have another 3 free revision lectures in the coming 3 weeks till the exam. I hope all of you having a good study and fruitful study and pass your exam in a very easy way. Thank you so much and see you soon. Goodbye.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The recording has stopped.
Oh, $1,000.